Excuse me.
Let's go. Move it.
Dog is going crazy.
Move it.
He's
He's gonna do full auto.
Oh god.
See? Oh, he finally got us! Dang!
Oh my lord.
I know, that was insanity awesome.
Oh my lord.
Howdy folks, Sober here. Welcome back to the channel. I apologize in advance if you hear background noise like the fan going. It is in the middle of June and my AC went out. Yeah, it's hot. I am exhausted because, well, one, because it's hot, and also I didn't really sleep that well last night. But this is a little footage of me playing in Phly's custom battle with Evil Mav, Didasco, Dark Answer, and of course, good old Phly Daily. Boombadao. Or Bombadao? Something like that. It seems like he changes his name every stream, so people won't hopefully stop spamming him messages, but sadly, the fans won't stop. But yeah, this is a little clip of us lining up to be Phly's rocket targets. Let me turn that down. Oops. Wanted to turn it down, not up. It was a little loud on my end. And I was surprised at how much I was surviving all those rockets. I mean, as you'll soon see when he does those automatic rockets, those are insanity. Insanitily awesome, as I said in the video. But yeah, the IL-28 actually used to be one of my favorite jet bombers. You're probably wondering, what do you mean by used to be your favorite? Well, you see, I played the IL-28 a lot back when Korea was essentially the only map you got. It was this was before the VOW tours and even the Italian jets were added. So the IL-28 used to be a good bomber. But then, I mean, I understand the concept behind it, but they removed the lead indicator for the bomb site. So you had to physically, now have to go, well, not now, but for a while you have, how do I put this? At the time, you didn't need to go in the bomb site. Like in arcade mode, you would see, like the bomb indicator would tell you where your bombs would drop. That was helpful. Now some of you might wonder, why not just use the bomb site? Well, the bomb site isn't, well, depending on what plane you use, isn't as accurate as the arcade bomb site. So that was a bit of a hindrance. But back in the day, the IL-28 used to be quite a ground hunter. It was a joy to use. But eventually it just fell out of context. Like they nerfed, I forgot what patch it was. In one of the patches, they nerfed the effectiveness of tail gunners. I know, feels bad, man. As well as other problems. Well, not problems, but other changes. And plus, for a while I had all the Soviet jets essentially. I had all the MiG-15s, the MiG-9s, the Yak-15s, and the LA-15. This is before they added the LA-200 or the Yak-23 or the Tu-14. But I did have a great time when I used the IL-28 for much of my grinding. I think I had like, by the time I started using it less often, had like a total of 1,600 ground units destroyed, and I think 100 something aircraft destroyed? Something like that. I'm not looking at my stat card right now, but nonetheless, the IL-28 was fun to fly. And now that there's this new IL-28 in the game, I'm kind of wondering if I should go for it too. I mean, You will soon see how effective those rockets are when they're in like burst mode, essentially, if you know what I mean. So we'll just have to wait and see how they. I mean, as you can see, were good on a few stationary targets. But what about moving ones? Like if you're an air RB. It's an interesting question, so we'll have to see. But yeah, I think I would definitely go for the IL-28 SH. Even if I don't use it as often as my other vehicles. Because I think I'm definitely going to be playing the Leopard 2A4 most of the time. And the new 110s. The BF 110s. That's like so exciting. Like, I'm a huge fan of the BF 110. And when I found out they were going to add 3 models, well, technically 2 new models and an updated model for an original, I was like, woohoo! So the C4 that we've known and loved since War Thunder went into open beta is getting an improvement. It's being redesignated as the C7. Now you're probably wondering, will I have to buy it again? No. See, a while back, I forgot when this was, they added the F6F5N. Oh, and to deviate a little, me having fat fingers, I thought I was pressing F because I panicked and tried to press F to put out the fire, and I accidentally pressed G, which launched the smoke grenades, and my everyone around me was like, Sauber, are you kidding me? Yeah, that was embarrassing. Anyway, going back to the F6F5, they decided to change the old F6F3 to F6F5, which was basically an improvement. It had a slightly better engine, but I think that was pretty much it. And I think a different cockpit. So likewise, they're doing a similar thing with the BF110 C7. And then there's the BF110 F2, and then the one I'm especially interested in, the BF110 G2. That thing has 2 MK108 30mm cannons, 2 20mm MG151 cannons with 700 rounds. Yeah, I think it's like 400 for one gun and 350 for the other. Wait, is that right? I'll have to look again. But it has an impressive armament load, and on top of that, you have a choice of either adding more 20mm, which isn't really that much of a difference because it's only 100 rounds per gun, which really isn't that much. Or, what I would like to try is you can add a 37mm BK 3.7 with 66 shots. Yeah, and bear in mind, the armor-piercing round can penetrate, I don't remember the exact calculation, armor penetration value, but it can penetrate over 100mm of armor. So that would be a nice anti-tank vehicle. Well, you would be, I'm sure you'd be interested. Sorry, I'm sputtering again. My bad. That is certainly a vehicle you would want to take out. And that hay bale did not go flying like it flies Leopard video, but oh well. So yeah, let's talk now a little bit more about Italy. I got to explore this map a little more, and I am really excited for this map. Like I mentioned in my previous video, it's a maze, and it keeps you on your toes. And in this particular battle, there was quite a few players to play with. For both sides, too. I guess because a bunch of people were into the Type 90, the Leopard 2A4, T-64 Bolanica Vyacheslav, and especially the XM1. And as you'll soon see in this video, the XM1 is a very easy tank to destroy if you're in a 9.0 or 9.7 tank. But, at the same time, the XM1, as a Tier 4 modification, keep in mind, because it's a premium vehicle, you get all modifications immediately. It has, as an upgrade, the M735 shot, an APFS DS round, which can penetrate 360mm. That's enough to pen a T-64A from the front. It can get the Leopard 2 or Type 90 from the front, that is if you aim for the lower glacis, where the ammo is located, and yeah. And plus, it's nice and mobile, so you gotta watch your flanks, because they will flank you easy. I'm really interested to see how the XM1 will perform on the live server, with new and old players alike duking it out in that thing. Because as easy as that tank is to destroy, it can destroy you just as easily as you can destroy it. I know. This XM1 came out of nowhere and shot my teammate. I was like, hey, where did you come from? It was rather interesting to see that guy just flank us like that. And poor Doma, he didn't have FPE, so sadly he didn't last long. So I was like, once he got destroyed, eventually I was like, okay, I'm getting out of here. Safety in numbers, especially on an urban map. But yeah, and to my surprise, to deviate a little, as of June 10, 26, oh my goodness, 2018. Oh my goodness. Okay, YouTube is being drunk, and I can't pull up my video for some reason. But it has over 5,000 views. Yeah, 5,000. Finally, here we go. It's got 5,434 views and still climbing. I mean, that's more than my M1 Abrams dev server videos combined. Let me pull them up real quick. Let's see. M1 Abrams in action, playing with Phly. My first M1 video, the M1 Abrams in action, which was released on March 9, has 2,297 views, whereas my second Abrams video, playing with Phly, has 1,440. Oh my goodness, I need a moment to just comprehend that. 3,737 views total between the two videos. And then the Leopard 2A4 has almost 5,500 views. I am so grateful for you guys' support and interest in my channel. It just blows me away how quickly I've grown to see this awesome community that you guys are. I am so appreciative. Thank you so much. Anyway, let's talk a little more about Italy. This map, I said it before, it is just tremendously awesome and how huge it is. But one thing that Didasco brought to my attention, I don't know if you saw it already, was that although this city is essentially untouched, you can see near where Bravo would normally be, which on the map is, let's see, M11, there are 3 knocked out Tigers, you know, scenery tanks. There's one. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think the Tiger 1 saw action in Italy. Now, the Panther did. It saw action in Italy against British and Canadian troops, but I'm not sure about the Tiger. I mean, it makes sense to have some scenery tanks on some maps to make you think, oh, is that an enemy? And then you're like, oh, it's just a scenery tank. Kind of keep you on your toes, right? But the fact given that this city is untouched by battle until you get in there and start running over everything, and then in addition to the Tigers, I don't know, it's not really so immersive. Yeah. It's funny because I didn't even notice that, and I was playing with Didasco in a custom battle on this map, and he's like, hey, Sauber, have you noticed the Tigers? And I was like, what Tigers? He says, near Bravo. And I looked and I was like, yeah, what about them? And he said that it doesn't really make sense that they're there because from what we know, the Tiger didn't see action in Italy. And I was like, oh, I didn't even notice that. Because I was exploring other parts of the map. And oh, that reminds me, I don't have it in this video. Oh yeah, that XM1 flanked me. Thankfully, my friend saved me. That one XM1, he was gonna ram me, and then Type 90 is like, no, you are dishonorable. Anyway, in like Q10 and R10, you know, that southern lake, it is infinitely deep. Like, me and Didasco, I drove my Leopard, he drove his XM1 into the water, and I held the X-ray button, and we were just sinking and sinking and sinking. And even when it said drowned, you know, the drowned message, I was still sinking. It was funny. So I guess maybe the Italy map will receive some more fine-tunes, you know, refinements, if that's a word. Adjustments, that's the word I was looking for. We shall see, but I'm excited for that map. And one thing I wanted to mention was that I really think that positioning the cap points, because that was a battle map, that wasn't domination, in the middle of the map, and the spawns separate. Now, what I mean is that on some maps, like Poland, where it's an east-west battle, where whether if it be battle or domination, there's two spawns on each side. One on the north, like for example, if you're on the east team, you got a spawn in the northeast and a spawn on the southeast. If you're on the west team, you have a spawn in the northwest and a spawn in the southwest. On that Italy map, it was a little different. For the eastern team, you had a spawn only in the north. And your cap point, you know, your home point, was in the north, away from your spawn. Likewise, the the western team had their spawn only in the south, and their cap point in the south. Central, away from the spawns. I think that would be a great direction to go in. I think War Thunder is trying to and before I explain further, I was debating honestly if I should, you know, add this replay to the video, because it was, yeah, mostly spawn camping. But likewise, and yeah, that M42 actually did pen me on the side. Yeah, that hull armor isn't really that strong. I don't know the exact value, but I think it's less than 76 millimeters, because M42 can penetrate, I think, 76 millimeters of armor at point blank. But I don't know. Yeah, we mostly camped on this battle. But it's a dev server. Things get rushed more easily, and frankly, we had nowhere else to go. As much as I like the Rhineland map, this is a prime example about how when it comes to a city map, or like on this map, or Berlin, or Ash River, then again, you don't really see Ash River at this tier, where when it's a small map, it's just too easy to spawn camp. And sadly, in this case, we didn't have a choice. We captured the eastern point, you know, Alpha, or Apple, whatever you want to call it, and there were like hardly any enemies. I mean, that M42 was the first enemy I had encountered in this match. Yeah. So, I think, now it's really hard to change the older maps, but and when I say older maps, I'm mainly referring to like Rhineland or Berlin, those urban maps where you don't really have a lot of places to go. Likewise with these newer maps, like Italy, I think that's a great push in the right direction for War Thunder, because you have less of an incentive to spawn camp, because your objective is in the middle of the map, away from the enemy spawn. Now, I know that there are some maps with that already implemented, like Maginot or Finland, but this is a much bigger map. I mean, Maginot's big, but it's more open. You see, with Italy, you have an open area for both sides, but smack dab in the middle of the map, where you can't really go around the city, you have to go through the city. Most of your fighting would be done in that part of the city. So we'll just have to wait and see how that would play on the live server, but I think that if you play on that map, you are very less likely to get spawn camped there than here on Rhineland. So we'll have to wait and see. Nevertheless, I'm really happy for War Thunder with the new Italy map, because I think it is a huge step in the right direction. I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself on that, but I have high hopes for that. Because if you have the spawns away from your central objective point, then most likely it would decrease the incentive to spawn camp. But for smaller maps like these, I guess maybe the protective zone could be expanded. Or one thing I've kind of been toying with in my mind is, what if there were dynamic spawns? Now what I mean is that you have a number of set spawns, and they tested this on an event a while back where you have an extra amount of spawns. I think it was like 4 different spawn points, but if you could only see your own spawns. As regards to the enemy spawns, you could not see them. You could only see your own spawns. But I think that would definitely help, because now that I think about it, because on this map there were only 2 spawns. Well, that is pretty much it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Wanted to give a little shout out to Doma1318 and CrazyMixture for noticing me when I was playing these 2 battles for the Italy map and the Rhineland map respectively. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and until next time, peace out. Oh, and I'll see you. There's still some more dev server video footage, so stay tuned for that.